In my head, this game just boiled down into I should have bought a salve in lane. I
Is
should
this the
have
game?
expected. Yeah, I was the Monkey King.
Monkey King. All right.
Yeah. So
Salve.
in my head, yeah, it was just that I should have bought a salve. Because obviously, like, this guy wasn't CSing, but he was, you know, these days you can just sort of run around, bottle up, and I don't know, farm a small camp, bottle up, just get XP,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I could have like denied more. That's what I think I did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole team was sort of blaming this bounty hunter as well.
Bounty Hunter. Wait, let me check in here. It's actually featured in this game, but they played poorly. You said.
Yeah, like he got all the blame for the game, but I know I could have played better mid for sure.
All right, but let me take a look in here. So the main reasoning why you choose this replay is that you're laning against the tiny mid, right? It
Yeah,
could
no, I
be
laned
better.
fine up until but like I just didn't. I was sort of AFK, and I know like the big mistake I made was I went AFK in the brain, and
Mhm.
literally like I just didn't buy a salve because I didn't respect that he could just walk up to me, do the combo, and then I
Mhm.
can't lane until you know I can't lane. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, what do I
Mhm.
do? I eat a tango, he can still do the combo on me, and I die. And like
Mhm.
the death I had was so silly. Like I literally just still thought he couldn't kill me. But yeah.
Tiny. All right. Well, here's what will happen in our coaching session, Fergus, just to set your proper expectations. I'll be asking you questions, like, for the most part.
Yep.
I want you to answer it with your best, like, exhaust everything that you have until you
Okay.
don't have anything else. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's fine if you don't know the answer. I'm here to teach you the better way of playing Dota 2. Not just give you the answer right away. I want you to have the process, like the decision making, the proper decision making, and the proper mentality as well. Basically, I'm going to teach you how to fish instead of just give you the fish.
Okay. Okay.
So, what's your game plan in this particular game? Do you have a game plan at all?
Um, I've been whenever I see people pick CK, they just seem to just take over the game. So I literally Googled what counter CK,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the heroes was Monkey King, and I know I can play Monkey King.
Mm-hmm.
So I just picked Monkey King. That was it. That like I was gonna pick. I came in just wanting like I searched for a game of Dota because I wanted to play Ember. I just wanted to play Ember. I just had a feeling to play Ember, and then I was like, oh, there's a CK.
Mm-hmm.
I could pick Ember here, but is there anything better? So I googled what counter CK, and like it was literally Dota wiki. Like it said, um, Monkey King counter CK. So I was like, okay, I'll play Monkey King.
Okay. But you're not going to play in the lane against a CK, right? Um,
No.
yeah, because well, it's kind of okay counter to the CK, but again, since you're not playing the safe lane, the counter is not going to exist. It's going to be in the mid game, where you're going to rotate a lot and then punish the CK. And at the end of the day, it's not just about the CK and then your Monkey King, right? Um, because for me, when it comes to their draft, like you basically have the last pick on your mid, right? And then you
Mhm.
went for the Monkey King, and then they went for Tiny. So with the other heroes that they have, like the supports, Jakiro, Witch Doctor, Places Void, Chaos Knight. Do you think Monkey King is good? Aside from CK, do you think in the other three heroes?
I think he's good in lane against Tiny. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's good against. I think so. I think he's good. He's good against Witch Doctor. He's got a long range stun. He can cancel
Mm-hmm.
the ulti.
Witch Doctor. What about
Um,
the Jakiro?
um, he can be countered by the Jakira. I see that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
So,
it's too bad. I really don't think it's
mhm,
too bad. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's too bad.
mhm. Okay. Because for me, my thought processing in here, like regarding your last pick, since I play scrims, like playing in the lobby. Um, when it comes to your last pick, I don't think it's going to be effective, especially for the mid, because aside from thinking about the enemy heroes like the CK, Jakiro, Faces Void, and then the Witch Doctor. Look at your teammates. You have Pudge, Bounty Hunter, Ogre, and then Drow Ranger. So with your last pick, Monkey King, I don't see any chemistry at all. Like maybe on the Ogre, like the Bloodlust thing, it can help you, but there's no one that can set up the pacing of the game. Like you're going to play mid, you know. You can either play the mid that is going to set up the tempo and then create space for your carry, or you're the one that is going to carry the game. So
Okay.
regarding, since you already have the Drow Ranger, I don't think is I feel like it's going to be greedy if you're going to play as another carry as well in this game, because you have the Drow Ranger, and then if you're going to farm with your Monkey King, who's going to provide space for the Drow Ranger? And the other question that I have is, if no one is going to provide space for the Drow Ranger, how can the Pudge and then the Bounty Hunter and then the Ogre will be able to do things like objective taking? You know, there's no one that is going to rally them. Like, if they're going to play alone, like there's just three of them, it's not going to be effective. So they need something like that can initiate, that can create chaos. And I'm actually thinking that the Ember Spirit is a much better choice in this particular scenario, because of the Sleight of Fist and then Searing Chains setup
Into Hook.
Yeah. What are the other heroes that can make use of their of the heroes of your team? That's another one for the Pudge thing, you know, like the Root and then Hook. What are the other heroes that can play with it? Because if it's the Bounty Hunter don't want to go in first because he's squishy. He is annoying with the invisibility, but that's it. And when it comes to the Ogre, he's kind of tanky, but the damage is not actually that much. Especially he's playing from the boss fight, right? Same goes for Pudge. It's going to be difficult for him to land hooks if there's no setup, unless he's really good when it comes to the Pudge, right? So with the Monkey King pick, I don't think it's going to be a TU, right? Do you see where I'm coming from now, Fergus? Like regarding your pick on the Monkey King, like why I think it's a bad one. Like for me, you tunnel vision to only with the CK when it comes to your last pick. So if that is the case, I will strongly recommend you not to take the last pick and then give it to someone else, because the main purpose of the last pick is to counter them, you know, to set up the tempo of the or be the win condition of the game, basically. Yeah, because if you're in this game, early game could be fine with you, like dominate or just equal, but after the laning stage, I don't think the Monkey King will be able to create chaos. Also, if you don't have stun, you can be solo killed by the Witch Doctor. If you got Chronosphere, you will die as well, just +1. And even with Tiny, right? You get solo kill as well in here in the lane. So that's my thought processing when it comes to the last pick. First, it's not enough for you to think about the enemy heroes. You should consider your teammates as well. Like, how can you enable them, especially if you're playing the mid lane. All right. So yeah, that's my first point when it comes to picks or drafts. Of course, there are times that you can just first pick your hero and then think or hope that your teammate is going to properly pick their hero with some chemistry with your first pick and such, and the enemy will not counter you. Of course, it's possible, but again, it's a case-to-case basis. It's a case-to-case basis. So, do you have any questions so far, Fergus, regarding your last pick?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm trying to word this correctly, but like, what is there like a consistent like criteria checklist that I should sort of have in my head when because I do want last pick. If I'm mid, I do want last pick. Because I mean that's what everybody. If I go ahead and just picked Ember 8th, he might just, I don't know, pick Husker or
Encounter, yes.
Viper or something. Yeah, I mean that's just what happens normally in here. Well, in every game, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, if I did a poor last pick, I want to, I don't know, I just want to consistently be able to assess how to correctly last pick.
Okay.
And as a general rule of thumb, from my understanding of what you said, is synergizing with your hero's spells and understanding the timings that your like around your carry. So if your carry needs you to make 15 minutes of space, can your hero do that?
Like Medusa
Not can
thing.
you both? Yeah, like if I picked Medusa, that would have been. It might have. I don't know. It might have even been worse. It might have even been better. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your question regarding the criteria thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, how do you, oh, like not
Okay.
just this game. I mean, every single game that
Every
I
single
play
game,
from
yes,
now
of
on.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, or I'll share my experience to you. Okay. Because in my rank, I'm playing classic rank, so there are multiple players that will ping mid or carry, and they don't want to roll. They don't want to give up that roll. So usually they will end up first picking their hero, right? They will first pick this, let's say Ember Spirit or Void Spirit. And they will do that, and even if they are countered, let's say with the Huskar or Viper, since we're talking about mid now, the addition of the water rune makes the counter less viable. Let's say it's a Viper. Let's say you're Ember versus Viper. You play with your Flame Guard. You push out the lane, and then you use your bottle, and then rinse and repeat, and then go to the jungle. You know, because the and then after that 2 minutes you will have the runes again. You can even have your supports to rotate or even refill your bottle. Those kind of things. So the good thing about first picking, well, let's talk about the advantages and then the disadvantages of those things. If you first pick your hero, naturally they will counter you, right? The enemy will counter you, that's for sure. But the good thing about first picking, even though you're going to have a hard game, you will be forced to play around the counters, right? Because you know that you're countered already. You have to think about how can you salvage your lane, how can you salvage yourself from the bad situation, from the disadvantage, right? And if you lost because you got countered, of course it's going to be your lesson for the next game, for the upcoming games. It's just kind of painful lesson because you're going to tank 30 MMR because of that one, right? But at least you learned from those counters. And once you got your last pick, you will be more effective when it comes to last picking, because you have the enough experience that I first pick this hero. What if I'm the enemy? What will be the counters? You know, in the drafting phase alone, you're thinking about the possible picks, possible counters of your heroes. Let's say if you pick Monkey King, they should pick something like Viper, you know, that kind of heroes to counter you. And then if ever that they pick Viper, what's your build going to be? Is it still going to be the Jingo Mastery, or you're going to build something like Tree Dance, Primal Spring, just to push out the wave, go back to jungle, go back to lane, that kind of thing, you know? Because in lanes, you need to assess if you're going to play aggressive or defensive. It doesn't matter if you're countered or not. You just need to know what is the strength of your hero, and then what is the weaknesses of the hero. Do you get my point in there, Fergus?
Yes.
Does that answer your question, or do you have follow-up questions about the picking thing, like the criteria thing?
It's just I hear what you're saying, and like I'm playing ranked roles, like it's like an established, like I'm playing ranked roles at decently high behavior score, so it's like established that I get last pick. So this is going like I don't know. I mean, I could just first pick mid in like ranked roles where people are expected to first pick their supports,
Supports, yeah.
but I guess I mean I can do that. I mean I can do that. It's just I don't know. It's like it feels like you're answering like that answer works for you, but it will work for me. It will help me learn, but
It's going to be the painful one.
not that it's the pain. It seems a bit silly to because you've come to that conclusion because in your games like people are constantly first picking their hero because. But I have like I play ranked roles, so I sort of have the privilege of always having last pick if I'm the mid laner, or at least like second phase, bare minimum. So I would like to know, like I would just I just want to I don't know.
All right. I just want to add as well that one of the main reasons why people are doing that is to challenge themselves and then also to improve their skills. I understand that you're playing the role queues thing. Like it's become a habit that when you have mid, you should have the last pick, right? It's your comfort already. But regarding that comfort thing that we're talking about, it's actually one of the worst thing when it comes to improvement. Like if you're comfortable with something, I'm sure that you're going to have a hard time improving yourself because you're always comfortable with what you're doing. Your knowledge is going to be, or you're not going to think outside of the box. Like how, if you, or how should I rephrase it?
I fully understand what you're saying right now. I fully understand what you're saying right now. You don't need to rephrase it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Because for me, I will prefer to improve my skill set rather than play to win. I will play for improvement than play to win, because if you keep on playing for your own improvement, those wins will naturally come. Okay, because you're used to being countered. You already know how to play around those counter, and if you're not being countered, since you are in that spot before, you know how to press that advantage that you have because you've been there, right? So at least that's my mentality when it comes to the drafting itself. Like regarding the comfort, regarding the skill level of the player. But yeah, it still depends on you, Fergus. If you will, it's only my advice though. At the end of the day, it still depends on you. Like, do you really want to go for last pick and then not being effective when it comes to the last picking thing, like the monkey king here, right? It's not that effective because no one is going to play around your monkey king or your teammates, and then also your monkey king when you picked it, it's only against CK, right? That's the only thing that you think about the your monkey king. Even the witch doctor can solo kill you with just level 6 if you don't have stun. The void, you can never kill the void easily because of the time walk, and then he can easily kill you with the harness as well, right? So yeah, that's my thought when it comes to your picks, or to your monkey king pick alone. So yeah, any follow-up questions though? I want to know.
No.
We're good. All right.
Yeah, we're good.
So let's play this game now. Since before you come to the lane, you recognize that it's going to be a tiny lane, right?
Yeah.
That it's going to be a tiny lane. Yeah. So I actually wonder, like, what's your game planning? What's on your mind when it comes to the tiny and then monkey king matchup?
I thought he would. I don't know. I just thought naturally it's a melee versus melee. I naturally just hit him if he tries to farm, and that hero can't really jungle. I thought he was sort of just fucked because his hero doesn't really like farm. You know, if it's not the creeps early levels. I mean, if it's not the creep waves early levels. So, and I just sort of beat him in lane. I don't buy a bottle. I don't need to buy a bottle. So I just ended up buying 2 wristbands, which was probably silly. I mean, one would have been fine. I never even buy wristbands. But I thought if I buy wristbands, like, you know, it's 2 armor each, so some attack speed. I build up Jingu, I tank creeps, I just run at him like he can't lane against me, type thing.
Okay. Itemization thing, and melee versus melee. What about the timings, like power spikes in your lane? Have you thought about it? Like, do you have something in mind, like power spike? When I say power spike, or I actually want you to think, how can you kill him? How can he kill you? And if he can kill you, how can you prevent it from happening? Is that kind of scenario or questions in my mind?
Well, I mean, he can obviously do his combo on me, which is what happened. And
did you try to prevent it?
No, I just thought I tank it, I build Jingu, and then he just runs away, type thing.
Okay.
But he did it, and then he walked away, and then I was like, I just ate a tango. Like, the death I had was really silly. Like, I remember it, and I was like, okay, I needed a salve. The lane was really comfortable up until, like, he killed me, basically, because then I realized, like, oh, I can actually die.
Okay, let me watch this your laning for now. Alright. Last sets. Alright, a good thing that it doesn't no deny, so you got your level 2. Of course, we're going to play Q, right? Okay. Nothing unusual for now. The only thing that I don't like in here, or wait, let me play it once more. Let me finish it first, and then I'll ask you if you see nothing, if you see anything about it.
Okay.
After this road. Okay. All right. So do you notice anything in the first, like, 3 waves or 2 waves?
Yeah, I basically just auto attacked. I like pushed the wave too much. Didn't deny enough. I mean, he didn't get. I don't know. He didn't get he didn't really get any last hits though, because I mean, it's under tower and I'm putting pressure on him. So, like, it wasn't that bad. But at the same time, he's comfortable, because really the wave should be mirrored right now. It should be on my side, on my hill, for him to truly, like, I don't know, be sort of fucked right now. Like, he have to run across the river and sit there, so I can chase him down and, like, hit him 4 times. I can't hit him 4 times on the wrist tower. That's what I see as the issue. If there, yeah, that you would see.
Okay. Well, here, look at the wave. Look how he manipulates the crypt wave. See it here. Okay. You're actually pushing the lane, and then him is just aggroing the crypt wave, right? And then you aggro it again. So basically, your wave is still alive, and his is gone, right?
Yeah.
You got your level 2, yes.
Yeah.
But you cannot.
I'm not hitting him.
You cannot take advantage of your level 2.
No.
Right? You cannot take advantage of your level 2. Because here, let me change the screen in here so you would see my cursor as well, like what I'm seeing in here. Let me change the window in here. That's one, right? So, it will be really different when it comes to the crypt equilibrium if you play it around here. Here.
Yeah.
See it here? Let's go back here. This one is actually nice. This position right here is really nice, right? This one is really nice. If you keep these this position, it will be really massive. If you keep this position right here, but you attack, you push the melee creeps or the creep wave way too quickly, and then it pushes in here to his side, and of course you cannot easily tank the tower damage, and yeah, it's going to be pushed in because of this, and then his range creep is going to die. It doesn't matter if it's not going to be denied. But the range creep is the one that will do a lot of damage in the creep wave, right? This one is 23, this one is 21. So, since, yeah, it's going to be put in here, right?
So what's 23 and what's 21? I don't understand.
The damage of the creeps.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, it's very minimal though, but look at the damage range in here, like 21 to 26 on the range, and then here's 19 to 23 on the melee creep.
Okay.
So here, even if you got like level 2, like the Tiny didn't use any spells, you don't even know if he got like level 1 toss. He can toss you back to the range creep, and then you will tank the tower. The tower hits right there, and then yeah. So in the first 2 wave, when you're actually that strong, because when it comes to the timing of the Tiny versus the Monkey King, level 1, level 2, level 3, your Monkey King is strong, definitely stronger than him. But once the Tiny get levels on his avalanche and then toss, you can definitely die, for sure. You can be bursted by this guy, unless you got 3 minutes and then you purchase the infused raindrops. It will be prevented from happening. Right? But if you don't have the raindrops, he will keep on doing that one, and then he will do the bottle and then refill the charges by the rune. So your timing as a Monkey King is the first 2 waves, like first 2 or 3 levels in your lane. But you're actually playing aggressive, but you cannot easily push it through because of the creep equilibrium, and that's the biggest problem that you have in here, the creep equilibrium. And yeah, this is the 3rd wave, and then it's still in his favor, right? You cannot take advantage of it. Even if you're winning the CS battle, once he gets the levels, he can punish you if you're playing this kind of aggressive. Even denied, and then it's going to die under tower maybe, or you have to chase it. All right. If I were you, I will hold it in here. I will hold it in there. So it's the same concept earlier. You know, the creep equilibrium. If you play it in here, you can easily zone out the Tiny, because he's too afraid of you. He knows that you're stronger than him right now. Yeah, you did not do that one, but that is fine. It's a complete reset, but your range is on the high ground, and then this one is possibly going to miss some last hits or attacks. Now you're denying it. This one is much better now because you're controlling it now, but it took 2 minutes before you actually fix the equilibrium. See it here? The Tiny, afraid of you. Way too afraid. He's not getting anything. He cannot even get his bottle. Also, if the matchup is something like this, I will not recommend going for the raise band. I will recommend you going for something like boots of speed, just to pressure him more about the lane. Because how can you build up the stacks if you're being outrun by the Tiny? And how can you get in and out to the creep wave if you're slow? So 1 stack. Okay, stacking. Now possibly he got his bottle now. It's actually late, which is actually good on you. It is a good one. Like you definitely delay the bottle, because usually when it comes to the mid lanes, they will get the bottle for like before 2 minutes, usually. Yeah. Right. But he felt your pressure, and then he couldn't last it easily. But the pressure is wrong when it comes to the creep equilibrium. I think you already played against something like Viper or Huskar, right? Where they're going to control the lane so hard that whenever you come closer, they're going to harass you, right? So even though you're not playing the Viper thing, it's just the understanding of the lane equilibrium. It will really go a long way. And then the Tiny got the bottle now. He went for the rune, and then you just let him take it. So now he got like full HP and mana. He can definitely do this, rinse and repeat, and then force you to buy consumables until your gold is or your net worth is going to be on the consumables instead of real items. Tiny can do this. You're controlling the lane now. You went for the 202 build, which is a lane dominating build. And yeah, you get the primal
and then I was gonna max primal, so that
Tiny is here.
like I don't expect him to be laning. Like I expect him to sort of just like not really come to lane very often. But I was surprised he was level 5. Like that's what I've got 8 deny. I was surprised he was even the same level as me.
He's actually taking the neutrals as well in the small camp in there. See it here. The tiny is actually bad when it comes to the last heading for sure.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to be there, so he's just trying to get it over and done with.
Yeah. And he's actually being lucky right now because of your lane equilibrium thing. Well, it's actually good now, but for me it's kind of late. It happened like 4 minutes that you're controlling the lane, and yeah, he's going to do this. See your health?
Yeah.
One of the biggest counter of Tiny in the lane or in the early to mid game before the blink dagger is definitely raindrops. Just raindrops is going to fix it. And then now, if you ever try it again, like do the shenanigans that you were doing earlier, you'll get punished. See it now?
Yeah, and this is where I die. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Now he's just zoning you out. The counter is no more, right? Because you got the levels. And he doesn't care if you're Monkey King anymore. He can easily kill you. Let's fast forward this. Right?
Yeah.
See it there? So yeah, when it comes to the laning, you have to think about the potential potential kills, and then try to prevent it from happening. If you think that you're going to die, think about the solutions. If you think that you should kill, think about the ways how to kill them. You know, that's one of the main purpose of countering heroes. You have to know the strengths and then the weaknesses of each hero that you're playing, so you can push the advantage. And now you don't have Observer Ward, even though it has been expired in 6 minutes. You didn't even make a call for your team that the Tiny is missing. Right, he's gone for too long, and then 6 minutes. There's the rune. If Tiny will roam, people are going to die. That's a good the ward in there. Even though you didn't check the items of the Tiny, but maybe the subtle movement of the Tiny in there is enough for you. The Tiny is actually making the call like this guy is missing. Doing it. I think you should get out now. Yes. One more stack. You're going to die? Yeah. So now your game is ruined. Definitely ruined.
Very much.
And how do you think you should be recovering from this scenario? Like, what is your game plan now?
My game plan was what I was doing originally. It's still the same. It's max primal spring and just farm so you don't die.
Okay. Because you have to really adjust your playstyle almost immediately in here. Instead of playing aggressive, you should play defensive right now.
Yeah.
And then again, the runes. Okay. You don't have bottle. The enemy. You know that the enemy has bottle, right? And it seems like you don't know the gravity of the bottle rune itself. Like, especially the heroes like Tiny, Ember Spirit, or any spirit in particular. Having runes is really important. Refill the bottle, refill the mana and HP, and then you can rotate. Create chaos in the game. So, I don't know why you're not buying your Observer Ward. And this one is the Void. You can die. Again, yeah, look at the minimap, right? Before the Void actually went in. They're kind of messed up, but I think they can still do it. Because you're trapped in there. Lifesteal,
yeah.
Maledict, you're going to die. Alright. Vision! Vision is really important. See it here. Only CK showing. Jakiro dead. Maybe your eyes are on the prize, like on the creeps in here. Which doctor showed up, so Jakiro is still dead, and then Void is missing. And then they will, yeah, Faceless Void is here. Tiny is still missing. You ping it. What about Jakiro? Let's see it here. Jakiro went back. Yeah. Tiny has been missing for quite some time. So how often do you watch the minimap, Fergus?
Like until the 6-minute rune, I literally don't even. I really don't. Like until the 6-minute rune, that's like after the 6-minute rune, I start looking more and more and more. But before then, like I pay no attention, almost no attention, really. Do you mean like? I mean, it's hard to say. It's definitely game to game. I think I'm pretty attentive. In general.
Okay.
But not like it. I'm more attentive when like after the mid game. Like in the late game, I'm very attentive. I'm very like there's 4 heroes over there. There's I've got space over here for now. Type thing.
Okay. I mean, it's fine to be attentive in the late game, but if you're only going to be that focused or attentive into the late game, you will find yourself in a really difficult spot early to mid game. Right? That's why I've been saying to you earlier that you have to always ask yourself, how can they kill me? How can I kill them? You know, those questions in your head. Because if you're always thinking about how they can kill you, like before you even died earlier, if it's me, I would say, Tiny is missing. Tiny is the one that has been killing me, right? Tiny is missing for quite some time. I recognize it. I even ping it, right? You even ping that Tiny is missing. So you need to be more suspicious about it. Because one misplay in the early game is really ruining your game overall. Especially from mid, because mid usually are for snowballing. You know, you're not something like carry that it's fine if you get stomped in the lane, you can always recover because your team is going to let you get the farm. But if the mid or the offlane is going to do the recovery, it's going to be a difficult game, right? It's going to be a difficult game. So the only solution that I can give you in there is always ask yourself and the those questions that I said, like how can they kill you, what can you do in the game, like how can you kill them, that kind of thing. Because if you're always conscious about how they can kill you, you will always think about the possibilities to stop it from happening. Prevention is better than cure, basically. So right now you're doing the cure thing because you failed to prevent it from happening in the first place. So I wonder what kind of cure you're going to do. You're actually rotating in here. Tiny's
just sitting there.
He's messing around. Maybe he can actually kill you. Both. Nah, not enough damage. Maybe just stun? Okay. That's a good cure, at least. But it's taking so much time, right? You can just stun earlier. But you chose to Primal Spray. It's actually a good thing that the enemy did not react on it. Right? If the enemy reacted on it, you're fucked in there. Like, it's taking too long. It's a good thing that the enemy is not that coordinated, right? But if you want to go to the higher MMR bracket, people are more attentive in the early game, especially. And then especially their supports, like their rotations is really nice, way too nice. So Tiny TP'd in here. You're actually going for Echo Saber with just brown boots.
Yeah, it's not something I'd regularly do, but it's it provides mana regen, and I want to. What am I doing here? I don't remember.
Just jumping around. I really thought that they're going to play for the Tiny in here. Like, because for the Tiny, Like, see it here. I don't know why you stopped going in the top lane here. See the potential in here. Going for salve. You're watching it now. That's a good thing. You salve in here and then see it here. See on the map. Here. Right?
Yeah.
Question. What can you do in this current situation?
Not a whole lot. I mean, they're all missing. It's just Witch Doctor bot, but he's not showing anymore. So I just thought, let's get out.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, just something else. Like, see what's around. I guess that's why I went. I was like, it's silly now. He wouldn't TP back in. They've got to be behind him or something. So I don't know why. I don't know. I think I just went to go see what was going on behind.
Jumping in here. Yeah. I mean, if the Tiny will TP, it's going to be difficult though because you're alone, and then you got time walk, right? You're basically wasting your time in here.
Yeah, I am. It was more to like make sure. I don't know. I felt like I was just seeing what was. If I see, my team see as well, like what's going on behind. Because why would he TP in there? And also, no one's bot, so it's sort of like letting the team know. Okay, they're here.
Okay. Because for me, like, when it comes to those kind of info, like TP, the cooldown is really massive, really high, 80 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. So if Tiny will TP to the top lane, it basically means that their strongest hero or the biggest threat to your Monkey King is trapped in the top lane.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is it for you? How can you abuse the fact that the Tiny is trapped in the top lane? Right?
I could TP bot.
TP bottom and then finish your Echo Saber.
Echo, yeah.
Yeah, because here, let's watch it in here. Right? There's so much farm in the bottom lane. If you're going to play in the mid lane, they can easily go back to the mid. It will only take few seconds to walk from the top to the mid lane, or even don't care about your mid lane monkey, and they take their top. You know. But if you're going to play in the mid lane, like the farm wise, it's not that much because earlier in the bottom lane there's a lot of them, and also if you play to the bottom lane, you can easily take the tower because you have the Pudge in there, right? And then the enemy TP'd in there. But if you're going to pressure the mid lane after they take the top lane, they can easily rotate to the mid, like just like this. So easy for them to rotate.
This was Ogre saying on mic, let's push mid, they're top. And I was like, you're gonna fucking... I know this was gonna happen. I was like, you're gonna fucking die. I know I can get out, so I just hit it a couple times. But yeah.
That push alone is not even that effective, right? Because if you, for me, if you actually go to the bottom, I guarantee you'll be able to take it. Because your team is already in there, like the Pudge, and then the enemy is busy in the top lane, right? In the mid lane, since it's the most important tower of the game, the enemy is really focused on it, on defending it. And here comes the mid game, right? Even the Witch Doctor is doing a lot of damage there. Right? He even tried to defend it being outnumbered. So yeah, this game is being out of control. I mean, you have your Echo Saber for sure, but I don't think it's enough to actually win the fights. Like, you don't have burst damage, and then the spells that you're going to use is highly dependent on your damage, like your right click. This one is physical. This one is magical for sure, but this one is physical too. But if you have the damage, that's the time that you will do the. That's the only time that your spells will be effective. If you have the damage items. Koi, this is mid Monkey King. And then doing the cure again, right? You managed to actually do the cure early on, like you killed the Tiny, but you're so inconsistent about it, right? That's why you really need to have like game planning, like game plan for the early game, game plan to the mid game, and then game plan to the late game. you always need to assess yourself, like the current situation of yourself and then your team. You're a core, basically. You don't need to be pressured by your teammates. So let's go in here. Tiny is fully activated now. If the Tiny saw you, they will kill you. And then you're actually trying to fight right now. I am not going to do this one if I were you. Even if you manage to get like 3-man boundless strike, I don't think it's enough. It's just for scaring away. It's actually an invitation that, hey guys, I don't have stun. No, come and fight me. Yeah, the enemy's kind of afraid too. I guess the enemy don't know how strong they are right now. So yeah, they're kind of afraid. But if you're going to keep on playing like this, like playing as 5,
Wait,
it's going
sorry,
to be
my
difficult.
phone is calling. Just a quick call. Sorry.
Sure.
Just some stupid scam. Anyway, I put the phone down. Yeah, you were saying?
Okay. So since you're playing from behind, going for the 5 versus 5 engagement is not going to be that effective because there's a big chance that you're going to lose the engagement, right? You're actually lucky in there that the enemy did not push through it. Like,
Yeah.
if you think about the draft of the enemy, like the Tiny, he doesn't need cooldown, right? CK, he doesn't need it too. He can just walk in there and then kill you in there. Like, they know that you don't have the Wukong's command, but they didn't push, or they didn't force the issue in there, which you should be really lucky about it. And then here you're going to play bottom. You don't have the Drow Ranger. You see the hero coming. You got your face boots completed. That's nice. And you're still jumping in and out. You want to push, okay? You want to clear the wave first, and you're going to die. At least it's a nice attack.
Maybe.
And you're still going to die. Despite having vision. I mean, you scouted the Jakiro going to the bottom. And then you don't see anyone else on the map. Right? So when it comes to that farm or to your attempt in there, it's really risky.
This is when everyone was flaming the bounty because they're like, why was bounty standing next to me? He could have been like looking.
Scouting the
Like, he could have
enemy.
been. Yeah, like this is when people were flaming the bounty. And like, this is when I was like, yeah, what is bounty doing?
You're actually checking his profile now, and then possibly reported the guy as well. And
I didn't.
you definitely got tilted by the fact of your team is mad about the bounty hunter. But in reality, it's not actually about the bounty hunter that made you lose the engagement in there, right? It's a collective effort of you and your team. You should fight right now. This guy is isolated. See how bad the enemy is, right?
Yeah.
They're just walking like a headless chicken, right? And then just dying. They're just giving up their advantage, right? If I were, you should push right now, like the mid lane. But yeah, going back to the engagement earlier in bottom, it's way too risky. Way too risky. You only see the Jakiro on the map and nothing else. So again, the solution for that one, Fergus, it's still going to be the same one. How can they kill you? How can they stop you from doing what do you want to do? Right? Like, you want to take the tower in the bottom, right? But you didn't think about the possibilities, like how can they stop you from taking the bottom? And that's why it happened in there. You got killed. Although it's not instant death, like the Tiny didn't go on you. The Faces Void, they just killed you in there with Jakira, and then they will stop her. And nothing you can do there, but to use the Wukong's command defensively. Then you're TPing to bottom now, going for CK. Jumping around. Yeah, CK is here. CK wants to die. Wish granted, I guess. But, I don't think command is needed. But whatever. Yeah, even the spells, right? It's not needed. It's overkill. But at least you're using your ulti. But for the most part, your ulti is being used for reactive purposes. It's not something that you intended to actually do. Aside from the mid tier 1 fight that you chose to go for the Wukong's command. But it's really bad because you're outnumbered. So they fortified it here. Take the objectives now. Alright. BKB. I mean,
Yep.
BKB is of course going to be nice, right? But right now, since you're playing from behind as monkey king, I don't think BKB is enough for you to be effective. You need like 2 more items. Something like, maybe you can even go for Silver Edge as well. BKB is of course a really good one. Maybe Maelstrom as well for farming purposes, just to recover, just to get back into the game. Because if you're going to play BKB second item, I don't think it's going to be that cost effective. I mean, the enemy can always do physical damage on you. Witch Doctor, Faces Void, Tiny can do physical as well. CK can do it as well. Go jump right now. Drow is dead. Fudge is dead. Get back. Outnumbered again. You're actually concerned about... I feel like you're rotating a lot, Fergus. You are rotating a lot. Like, instead of you farming and finishing your item, since you're playing from behind, you don't want it. You want to rotate. And if you rotate like this, it's not going to be effective, right? Because you're rotating just to kill a support or just to help your teammate. You're a core. Your BKB is important, right? You have to be selfish about it. You have to be adamant about it. Because if you're going to play, it's warded now. I think maybe you're fine. If Tiny isn't going to be here, I think you're good. It's warded. So, in your mid game, what do you think is the I mean, the enemy is actually bad too, right? We saw it multiple occasions.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the problem with your playstyle on your Monkey King?
So I don't really know. I actually don't know. I mean, my ultis haven't been good. Yeah, they haven't really been good. I mean, I guess I should be using my ultis to defend towers more instead. Like, 'cause that was the only good one. Like, I need to see them have my team prepared, then ulti. Like, I'm ulting because I got gone on, type thing.
Always reactive, right? Basically.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't really know how to set these up. I don't know what to.
I mean, there's a big difference when it comes to playing proactive and then playing defensive. Because if you're going to play defensive, the enemy is forcing you to commit mistakes. Okay? The enemy is forcing you to commit mistakes. And it's natural that you're going to commit mistake because the enemy is forcing it, right? But if you are going to play aggressive, you are the one that is going to pressure the enemy, and then you are going to force them to commit mistakes. And if you're going to play aggressive, you have to ask yourself questions about how to be effective when it comes to playing aggressive. First off, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve by playing aggressive? Right? Second is, you have to assess the risk. Is it really worthy? Like the reward thing, is it worth it? Or is it not? You know? And then lastly, you have to make sure that you and your team is actually playing on the same page. You can try to play 1 versus 5, but it's going to be difficult. And here, there's actually the best example in here, right? You actually took the bottom, right? You have the ward in here. That's why and then the enemy did not actually defend it. But the problem is that the ogre went for a smoke, and then you followed him. Instead of finishing or focusing on your hero, Like, if you're going to play mid, what's the objective that you're going to take? Is there any objective in there that you can actually take? I mean, you can try to go for the mid tier 1, right? But it's going to be difficult. Because 1, you don't have the Monkey King's ulti. And 2, you don't have the Bounty Hunter. And then 3, they're going to kill your Pudge. Based on the minimap alone, right? And then another one is that you don't have vision in the mid lane, right? So the only info that you have is Jakiro, Tiny, CK in the map. So this is where the habits. This is where you should be checking or assessing the risks that I'm talking about. So it's really difficult though. Like you have to gather those info in your head, and then you have to ask yourself: Is it good? Is it good or bad? You know, you have to always remind yourself: Is this a good decision? Is this a bad decision? And yeah, you're actually going on the Jakiro right now, which is kind of risky. Good thing Jakiro is not prepared. That you know he can do some damage in it, like ground spell on the dual breath, and then cancel your primal spring, and then you're going to die, right? 3 dance if you took some damage in there. So for the most part in here, the bad habit that I'm seeing in here is that you're playing reactive. You're playing way too reactive in the mid game, and you're always playing the cure instead of the prevention, right? And you're going to get killed again. So yeah, one thing that can
just see that stun I just did there. I was spamming it non-stop, like, and it did like the first. I kind of basically when I got stunned the first time, it did the first stun, if you know what I mean. Like I spammed stun like 15 times while I was stunned.
Let's see it here. You're pinging it here.
I'm spamming, spam. And then I pressed it on them, and then it just did all, like, I don't understand why it did that.
That's weird. It feels like it feels like the boundless strike is trying to follow the Jakiro, and then the moment that you select the Jakiro, like the position, since the Jakiro is moving, they're gonna hit the Jakiro because the casting animation as well. That's really weird. It has the same behavior as the Nyx Assassin's Impale, that is not going to follow the hero.
Yeah, so I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
But even if you manage to hit that one, I'm sure you're dead. Still.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, you're not going to die in there in the first place if you're not going to play in the mid lane, right? If you keep playing in the bottom lane, if you keep playing in the bottom with your observer ward in there, what do you think will happen, Fergus?
I'll just farm for a long time until they arrive, and then I can go somewhere else until I have my
until
item.
they arrive. What else?
Or if they arrive and my team is there, and it looks like they look kind of stupid, I can just start a fight with my ulti.
Okay.
This hero is definitely strong. He shouldn't really play in the mid lane past the laning stage anyway. Like he's stronger in the side lanes jumping.
Side lanes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because of the tree dance thing, the mobility thing. But for some reason, you're not taking advantage of that strength of your hero, right?
No.
Because you're playing in the mid lane.
No, yeah, we got smoked and we had to try and do something, make something of that smoke, and.
You didn't even try to argue with that smoke. Like you don't even know you didn't even ping your cooldown on your spell. You don't even know the item of your teammate. Like, are they actually ready to fight for smoke? And such. I mean, it's going to be 3 versus 5 if ever, right? You're going to fight in the mid lane. They can TP as well, unless you know that they already use a TP. You can easily go in there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Regarding your answer earlier, I actually like it. Like, you will farm your item until the enemy will react on it. But the only thing that I miss is pressure. That's the only thing that I've been waiting for you to answer. Why pressure? Because if you're clearing the wave in the bottom lane, your creeps is not going to die, right? Because there's no enemy creeps, and naturally, those creeps are going to push the lane, right? And if it's always push in like here, if it's always push in, no one is showing, no one is defending bottom. Your team will be careful about the mid area and then the top area, because you know that there's no enemy in the bottom, right? So where else they could be? Only in the top and in the middle.
I mean, it's creep waves or wards in a weird way. Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
Pressure, right? And then the enemy, or pretty much anyone else, don't like their tower being destroyed by just the creep wave. Especially if we're talking about tier 2, because tier 2 will give access to the outpost. And if you manage to get the outpost, it will give you more map control as well, right? So that's another thing that's you have to think about, or you have to incorporate into your games. Like this rotation right here, I don't care if it's smoke. It doesn't make sense for me. It's a very useless smoke, basically, and then you did not get anything, and then you stop yourself from farming, right? Yeah. Only you. I mean, you're not even being pressured by the enemy, right? The enemy is not even stopping you from farming. It's just you that decided to stop farming and then try to do this shenanigan thing. So again, prevention better than cure, always. You still know that there's still problem on your game, right? That's why you're queuing the BKB, because that's a solution of this game. BKB will make you hard to kill, and then you can fight with your BKB. But yeah, you play in the top, snowball, right? And here they will take the Roshan, and yeah, after they take the Roshan in here, what is the right play in here now? I wonder.
I don't know at this point.
What do you think?
I'm doing what I should have been doing now. I mean, I'm just sort of ignoring my team and pushing these waves out. I'm just sort of watching and pushing bot, watching, pushing bot.
This one is actually a good one. Good play from you. But
yeah, and it felt like the right thing to do for a long time. It's just I kept like
you're way too late. Yeah, you're way too late. Just like in the laning stage earlier, Fergus. Remember? The tiny one. You and your tiny, like you waited for so long before you actually take advantage of the creep equilibrium. But then the tiny already have the bottle, and then he got the levels, and then the timing is gone, right? So for the most part, you're always late for the things that you've been doing. Okay. But eventually, you're doing the right thing. It's just way too late. Since it's late, it's not effective anymore, right? That's the problem, and that's something that could be fixed by the game planning thing. Like, if you always think about the only one praise, prevention better than cure, always that one. BKB, if you really need the BKB badly, you can actually go for disassemble the Echo Saber, get the Ogre Axe in there.
I did not think about that in game.
Yeah. Because if you really need, if you're getting really pressured and then you really need to immediately fight, you can disassemble that as well. But yeah, it's fine if you forgot it. So, for the next game, of course, maybe. If ever that you will have like Echo Saber thing and then you want BKB, just disassemble it soon. Next time. And again, the enemy, right? The enemy is not even that good. The enemy is overextending and such. And then feeding. There's still hope for winning this game, right? You just need to focus on the things that you should be doing, like properly. Yeah, you're fighting now. I mean, why not? You have BKB. It's CK. I thought you're going to overkill the CK again with your.
This was so annoying.
It feels like you really hated the CK.
No. It wasn't that. It was I was annoyed at the CK. It was the cask like following.
Yeah. The coconuts bouncing. I mean, based on your.
I was about to catch whoever that was at the secret shop, and then bloody thing.
Look at this. Look at this game. Alright, you don't have the Drow Ranger, but the enemy don't have the CK. Now CK could actually go in here, go back. You should try to say, oh, that's really early, Yules. He didn't even wait for you to get the jingle sacks first. OT, but you have the Maledict, man. Ah, the Witch Doctor. You can do it. You can still do it. Done. Ah. But again, the Drow Ranger is not there. Miscommunication again. I don't know why the Drow Ranger TP'd in there. It's totally not your fault. I think it's a decent fight overall. Like the gold exchange in here. It's a decent fight. But it should not be that that result. I mean, the Drow Ranger. It's not your fault though. The only fault is that you missed the boundless strike to the tiny in there. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So what's the plan in here after? What do you think should happen in here after this one? After the engagement? You still have your BKB, you still have your OT. And you're actually going for MKB. I wonder why MKB?
I saw a halberd on CK. I think that was it. And I think. Pardon?
Only the halberd? That's enough reason for you to go for MKB?
Yeah, I was just thinking like when I get level 20, I think I was thinking when I get level 25, I can do the really big ring. With the MKB.
Level 25,
and
right?
Slows from, yeah, and the Echo Saber.
But it's still far.
So, yeah.
So you have to keep on farming and then split pushing like this. And yeah, keep split pushing, keep doing this. You should be doing that earlier when you have the max what you call this, primal spring thing. You should be doing that in the side lanes. Be annoying.
Yeah.
So keep farming. You can die in here. Wait, why is he afraid of you?
What
the fuck? If I'm the faces boy in there, I will turn around and then kill you in there. I mean, why bother? No one can save you in there, unless the punch is playing behind you. You can be saved. Yeah, they're fighting. Look at them. They're actually carrying the game. It's not about you now. The hero dead. Witch Doctor dead. Almost. Ah, you're dead. But at least you managed to get the hero. Let's go here. Look here.
Should I have got my Jingu before I just on that?
I mean,
it would have. Yeah, I think it would have been obviously the better thing because I would have definitely killed the Witch Doctor. I guess that was a misclick.
In this particular fight,
possible.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I don't know if it was entirely like possible. It would have been like the ideal, but is it entirely possible?
Which one?
Like that I build up Jingu and then stun the Witch Doctor. I mean, I obviously threw the stun because it was like they were aligned and it was a double stun. But maybe I should have just tried to right click the Jakiro down, then threw the stun on the Witch Doctor.
I mean, I actually like your camera angle in here, Fergus. But the only problem to me is the execution. See it here, okay? So the Jakiro already used all of his spells, right? He used all of his spells. I saw you watch him go for the macro fire, ice path, and then dual breath. Basically, he got nothing. He got nothing, right? But here is the problem. Witch Doctor has his spells, right? So for me, if I saw something like this, I will not bother myself to go to the Jakiro. Because he's nothing. He's just a creep. He got no more spells, right? But with the Witch Doctor, he used the coconut in here. Wait, well, let me go back in here. And then go to the 1 time speed. Yeah, you got no more spells. And then you're actually hitting the Jakiro. I mean, it's basically trapped in there. For me, I will go for the immediate Witch Doctor in there. You can even go for the Primal Spring just to get on top of him. The Jakiro is trapped, and Jakiro has nothing to offer. The main reason why you died in there is the Witch Doctor. You committed so hard, and the CK turnaround. But I'm still not sure if you're going to survive in there, like because the Faceless Void is still alive and thing. But at least when it comes to your team fighting, you have to fix your hero priority. I like the fact that you are watching them. I really like it. But the problem is, you have the info, but you're not using it. You're not taking advantage of the info that you got. Like what I told you regarding the Jakiro, right? He got no spells and everything, but you decided to go for him. That kind of decision making.
I saw him cast a spell, and I just thought vulnerable target, and then I just went for him.
Yeah, but then again, it's not going to win you clashes or fights if you're going to kill the guy with no spells, right? If you really want to out team fight the enemy, you have to recognize those things. Like recognize what are the other spells that is not being used. Are you going to prevent them from using that spell, or you're just going to accept those spells? You have to consider how impactful they were in the first place. You have to know the worth of each hero in every engagement. If the Jakiro didn't use all of his spells, for sure you have to take care of him first, right? You are going to take care of him first. But the Jakiro used all of his spells, and therefore you should not take care of him at that specific point. It's really case-to-case basis, you know. I can always say that you need to kill the voids first, the Faceless Void first, the Tiny first, that kind of thing. But it depends on the situation where you're in. Like, do you have vision? Does he have chronosphere? You know, those kind of criteria. So that's not a problem on your mid game or into your late game. Like, you definitely pay attention to the minimap. You look into the spells. You look into their items. Your decision is something that can be improved on. Vessel, are you going to force this? He TP'd. Draw Ranger TP'd.
Yeah, but this is like the part of the frustration with the bounty hunt. Is like he had Vessel the whole time, and like it's a minute later till you know, he has literally he had 9 or like something charges at this point, and
I saw it.
I'm sitting there with it was like I don't know. It's silly to complain about your teammates, but like it's one thing. Like this is another thing that it hinders my thinking. Like when things like that happen, like I play worse. Like it griefs me because I've that's happened, and like I don't know, like I'm not thinking as clear as I was a minute ago because that's just happened. Like I'm still thinking like kind of stupid right now because like this fucking bounty right here, I didn't even know they were underneath me.
And you didn't use your Monkey King's ulti immediately. Geez, we don't have BKB. Imagine if you use the Monkey King's ulti in there and then those supports. Yeah, and then you basically baited your whole team in here. Yeah, little die back. Again, look at here. Right? You know for a fact that there's no Tiny. Yes, he's dead. Then Void is being scouted. And then here you're going to do this, scouted. Right? But you get scouted by the tower. You should just go for the Wukong's command right here. And the Drow Ranger will go to the Jakiro. Right? Even if the Jakiro will go for the Yule Scepter to himself, he's still trapped in the Wukong's command. But no, you just want to right click, you're reserving your spell. And here's the turnaround. If you manage to use the Wukong's command in there, I doubt if the Faceless Void will commit in to the Drow Ranger. Because that Monkey King's ulti is going to zone him out. And therefore your Drow Ranger will be free hitting. He will do damage. in that engagement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
that's kind of throw. I mean, is this the last fight that you have?
I think so, pretty much, yeah.
I
I
have
try
a
and get my
question
level
though.
25, and then they just end it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's way too late now, right? Because you guys
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
buybacks. Um, how do you communicate with your bounty hunter? Like earlier here,
I
I
think
saw
he,
you ping it, right? I saw you ping.
I think he muted everyone because he got flamed. And, well, I don't know. He's just one of those guys that you don't know what the fuck they are. Like they don't speak at all. You don't know. Like he didn't cooperate once, and he just got flamed. And I don't know. I don't even know if he heard even himself even getting flamed. Like he just didn't cooperate. In
But
any
I think
way.
he's actually communicating with you. Like he is. Yeah, when you ping the vessel, he actually healed you immediately.
I think I said it on mic or something or something while I was hitting tower.
But, of course, it's going to be annoying as well, especially if you're playing from behind, and then you have players like this. And again here, the habit of not assessing the risk, right? You decided to play aggressive even though you bought back beforehand. Like the cooldown of buyback is 8 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You basically baited the whole team in here in this scenario. In this loss, I would say that it's totally on you. I mean, at least in the last engagement, right? This is really good pickup from your team. You even stopped the tiny from blinking out or from escaping, right? You even go for knight. Your team is going for well played. You can feel if you can win, right? And then you guys throw. You got cocky basically because yeah, I mean, you get the kill on tiny, which is their mid, and then you got cocky in here. Again, prevention is better than cure. If it's me, my thinking is going to be we don't have buybacks, right? We don't have buyback. If we also, you don't know, or you know that the tiny did buyback earlier, ever since, right? Unless you're watching his items, you see the progress, right? He just purchased big item, let's say Octarine Core, and then you saw it. You will be confident into going in and then not worrying about the tiny's buyback, right? So you really need to assess the risk. Like how can you lose the game? How can they stop you from doing this? And the execution, another problem. Run scenarios in your head, always.
Pardon?
It will go long way. Always run scenarios to your head.
Runs through okay, yeah, scenarios.
Think about the possibilities. How can they kill you? How can you kill them? How can they win? How you can win? Those questions, like how, always how. You know, if you want to take the tier two bottom, if you ask yourself how, it will be there. It will be answered because you will start gathering resources or info, like we have agents, we just killed their tiny, right? And
Yeah.
after you got the how question answered, assess the risks. You know, is it worth it? Can they actually fight this? You know, and it turned out you guys didn't assess the risk, and you lost the game because of it. No buyback. This one is a good attempt at least, boundless strike, but there's one creep remained, so that means you messed up again. Gee. This one is good, but they still have the one creep in there, so the backward protection is not present. See it there? You can actually prevent it from happening too, if you got it. You know? So this game is totally on you, that's for sure. What are the other things, or what is the key takeaway in this game? Or do you have any questions for me, Fergus?
Not really. I mean, I don't know.
Nothing?
I don't know if I have any questions. I don't have questions. I really don't.
You don't really have a question?
Is there something I should be asking you? Like,
Yeah,
you're surprised I
maybe.
don't have a question.
Yeah, maybe you have a question for me, like what happened earlier, right? In the mid game, you asked me a question, or even with the drafting, you asked me a question, like the
Um,
criteria thing, the timing thing, anything. If you do have a question, because if you don't have a question, I will be asking you, and then I will give you key things to work on, like assignments.
I don't really have a question. No, I mean, I just um, you pretty much explained like my mistakes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know the things I could have done better or should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not really. I have clarification on this game.
Okay. Well, you can always send me a message through Discord as well, and then I will try to answer your questions if ever that you don't have any questions in this
Yeah,
particular
yeah.
time. And then later you have a question, I will definitely try to answer that one. Key takeaway. All right. So, um, again, you have the thinking that if you got mid, you should get last pick, right? Which
Mhm.
is fine. It can go both ways, I guess. But when it comes to improvement, it's not that effective or it's not helpful because you are fixed in that thinking, which is really a bad habit already. Because you'll have the comfort of having the last pick, and you will not be pressured. You will not be thinking outside of the box. Remember what I said earlier when it comes to the first picking thing, like challenge yourself thing and adjustments kind of thing. Like you first pick your hero and then you got countered heavily by Viper and the Ember kind of thing. That
Mhm.
kind of mentality. I think it's the same thing. I think the Tiny, it's not the first time that he got countered by a Monkey King in the lane, because the Tiny definitely know how to play with your counter, right? Totally
Yeah.
in this lane, it should be in your advantage, right? You should have the upper ground in this mid lane. But the Tiny managed to abuse the Crypt Equilibrium, and you did not abuse the fact that you have the advantage in the game. So I think as well, like it's something to do with experience and also game planning. Of course, experience is a tough, or it's a lesson that you already have in your Dota 2 games. But when it comes to the game planning, even if you haven't experienced it, as long as you're thinking about what is the good thing about this hero, what is the bad thing about this hero, you can definitely go to get an answer. Like again, the prevention is better than cure thing that I've been talking
Mhm.
about the whole time, right? So I asked you as well earlier. Do you know was your laning match? Was the what's the laning matchup? Right? You said Tiny, and you
Yeah.
said your game plan is you harass the guy and such, but the execution is poor, right?
Yeah.
The execution is late as well, late, and then after that, you're in full recovery mode and didn't have a game because of it. You're always playing reactive. Um, that's because I think you don't have a game plan for your games. So that's something that you should have. Please take note of this one, Fergus. Always
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
game plan. Always have a game plan. Like it doesn't matter to me if you're playing from advantage or disadvantage, but you just need to have a game plan. Always. Don't go for autopilot. Because if the moment that you go for autopilot, you're basically accepting, or you are in your enemy's mercy. If you're going to do autopilot, like reactive playstyle, like what happened in this game, right? You're just
They did
waiting.
some.
Mhm.
Sorry. Did they just? But they. Yes, I was on autopilot, and but like they did some really unusual things, like that I
The
wouldn't
enemy.
expect. Yeah, I think so, like
Mm-hmm.
when I killed Tiny,
Mm-hmm.
like 99 games out of 100, they'll just like three of them will just go sit in their base, and like one guy will go farm like the opposite side of the map.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I killed Tiny in this game, like they smoked up. Like, I didn't expect
You mean
them
the
to
last
be
fight in the
prepared.
bottom?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
Mm-hmm.
smoked up like after I killed Tiny, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
during, and he just wasn't a part of it.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was a bit. It's not something I see very often, and it happened this game.
Yeah, I mean, The thing is, the Faceless Void or the Radiant side managed to find the Drow Ranger with the Faceless Void, and then the Pudge is busy, could not help the Drow Ranger, and they know that you guys don't have buyback, right? So those info, like they know, they take note of those info, and they totally use it. That's the good thing about the Radiant side. When it comes to Dota 2, it's only a game of punishment. It's a matter of who punish harder, because mistakes is always going to happen, every game. All right, mistakes are always there. It's just a matter of how heavy you punish. Who's gonna punish heavier than the other team? And definitely the Radiant side punish you really hard, and then it's game losing punish or game winning punish for the side of Radiant side. Yes. So with those, I mean, it could be still going into the category of prevention better than cure thing. You know, because if you always think about those scenarios or those info, like, guys, we don't have buyback. Let's play a bit defensive. No, let's not go full aggressive, because if we die, if we die, we cannot come back to the game. And then the enemy, we know that they died, but they didn't buy back last time, right? So you have to do some like scenarios, you know, run scenarios, assess risk, basically.
Yeah.
In those situations, it's not just effective or it's not just useful in your game in this Monkey King. I guarantee you, Fergus, all throughout your games, your matches, upcoming matches, those things that I've mentioned, it's going to be useful. It's just a matter of breaking out of your habit and following the advice, if you're ready to embrace the changes. Because we know for sure that your current playstyle or skill level, or let's say thought processing, is not getting you to the higher bracket, right?
No.
We know that it's not effective. So I know the changes is going to be drastic, and it needs some time before it became a habit, and then it became natural to you that at this point of the game I'll be thinking, should we play aggressive? Should we play defensive? You know, should I check the minimap? Should I check the items of the enemy? Should I check if they TP? How did they get there? Those kind of things. I usually recommend that you put something like sticky notes, like in your desktop or in your monitor, and then whenever you play, you will always remember it. So since you're seeing those things, those lessons, you will ask those questions again, like, should we play aggressive? You know, those kind of things. So that is the key takeaway on you. I don't have a problem when it comes to your camera angle, which is actually impressive for Archon player. That you are gathering a lot of info on the map. That's really nice. Of course, it only happened when you got killed in the mid lane, like 10 minutes beyond, right? Or no, I think it's after 6 minutes, right? You got killed because you're not paying attention to the map. But after that, you totally learned your lesson, and then you've been watching the map. But the only problem is you're not abusing the info again, right? You're not abusing the info to your advantage. So that's all that I could talk about your game. I mean, not just your game, also your behavior, your decision making in this particular match. And yeah, I wonder if you do have any questions for me, like for the last one.
I really don't. Like you explained the game quite thoroughly. I think so. I mean, if I'll run it back to you as far as I understand. In lane, you know, sort of a laziness. Like I wasn't. I wasn't, you know, really focused on the creepy equilibrium. You know, putting it in the ideal spot for as long as I could. The then I didn't really recognize he can just walk up to me, do his combo, walk away, walk up to me, do his combo
Rinse and
again, walk
repeat,
away.
yeah, and then kill
Type thing.
you.
Yeah, eventually, like, it puts me. Yeah, I like, and yeah, and the death was silly. Like, I just, yeah, I don't know.
Really
The
silly,
death was so
right?
stupid. Like, I knew, like,
He even used XD, if I'm not mistaken, in there.
yeah,
Right?
I
Because
did. As soon as I
you're
had, like,
stomping him, right? You're beating
yeah,
him.
it just didn't. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't feel like it could happen. Like, I just didn't really think it could happen, and then it just happened, and it's just like, okay. And then he could just do it forever. It's not forever. I mean, he could just do it like until I was
Again and again,
stronger.
until you get out of the mid lane. I mean, it's not actually enough that it happened to you once. It actually happened like twice or thrice. Same goes for
Three
Tiny.
times.
Yeah, Tiny, right? Again, the lesson in there is if you're going to play core, how can they kill me? How they can kill me? What are the threats on my life? You know, because if you're always aware of those threats, you're going to prevent it for sure, right? You have to identify the problem first and then work on a solution, because you cannot solve a problem if you don't know the problem itself. So yeah, those lessons that I said, it's going to be effective. And come back to me like day, 2 day, or even a week. Let me know if your game is much easier. Of course, like what I mentioned, I'm not expecting you to 100% apply the mentality or the thought process in there. But as long as you're trying, you will see the drastic changes in your games, like the quality of your performance, basically. Because here in this game, you're just fucking defensive, like reactive in this game. It's just a really sad monkey game. Really sad. Instead of playing aggressive, you're forced to play defensive all game, and this one. So, yeah, I guess let's call it a day, Fergus.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, and good luck and have fun with your games.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.